everyone. Welcome to this episode of Entrepreneur Showcase Series brought to you by Patranya Media LLC and Parkway Media Partners. I'm your host, Patranya Poonswan, and our guest today, a very special friend right here, his name is Patrick Casale. He is the president of the Multicare Group. Patrick, so nice to have you.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So great to have you here in the studio to learn more about you, your business, and what you do for this community. So it's so great. So Patrick, the Multicare Group, if people have never heard of this company, what do you do? What is it all about?
We are a full-service insurance agency. We specialize in benefits, but we do other lines, life insurance, disability. I've been doing it for almost 33 years.
Wow.
My partner is Canadian, so we do a lot of Canadian subsidiaries that come to the United States.
Oh, wow.
We do their benefits. We do a lot of international clients here in the United States,
Wow.
which is around the country, as well as I do a lot here in Nevada. The key that I'm finding is that the people that are being told what to buy that are foreign are finding themselves spending more money than they need to, and our job is to try to get the most out of that dollar.
That's really interesting because I did not know that you can be outside of the country and buying insurance and getting insurance right here in the U.S.
Yeah, well, you have people that they open an office here, they got to offer benefits, right? And some of these companies are quite large, so we have some unique products to offer these people, and we definitely save them money.
That's really interesting. Yeah, we have to talk more about this. So Multicare Group started right here in Las Vegas back in 2015?
I was one time Patrick Casale and Associates,
Oh.
and then I partnered up with my friend from Canada. He lives in Florida now, and we do business all over the country together, and we work with a lot of other brokers and do work for them as well.
Interesting. All right. So insurance. When people think insurance, they think, oh my gosh, how much is this going to cost me? What am I going to get out of it? Why do I need insurance? Just kind of give me that pitch. What do you tell people? Why is it so important to be insured, whether you're personal, business, whatever it takes?
Well, from the perspective of automobile insurance, it's the law.
Right.
But as far as health insurance is concerned, when you're younger, you feel invincible. And you wouldn't believe how many people I've met that were younger that ended up with cancer or
Right.
something crazy. But more so now that when you're over 50, like myself, you have to have benefits. And the idea now is that they call it the Affordable Care Act, but it's not affordable. It's the Unaffordable Care Act.
And people are telling you these stories that they've gone through.
Well, I mean, when you look at health premiums in the United States, since the Affordable Care Act was adopted, we now have the highest rates in the history of the world. So much for that plan. And then our out-of-pocket exposures are the highest they've ever been. I mean, this year up to $9,100. I mean, I don't know how many people can afford $9,100. If you and I were married, if we both got sick, $18,000, even if the insurance was free.
Wow.
So my goal, my ambition is to show people how to trade dollars and try to get a plan and save money. And what most people don't realize is that going to a doctor for $20 or $30 is unrealistic. So we have to start looking at different ways to reshape and how we spend that dollar.
So who are the clients? Who do you work with? Who are the core? Are there certain demographics or groups that you target?
Right now, I don't. When it open enrollment for individual, my office does a lot of work with individuals. We work with the state, the Silver State Exchange, Nevada Health Link. I was wrong. It wasn't Silver State. It's Nevada Health Link. I work with Nevada Health Link.
Yeah.
I write for all the individual carriers in the market.
So you work with all the carriers?
Yes. That's the best part of our agency. We're contract with everybody.
Yeah.
We have relationships there. So we ensure you will get the best rates for the best plan. Again, it's education. And most people aren't as educated as they need to be.
Right.
Most people don't understand insurance.
Yeah.
Like, for example, on the individual basis, open enrollment closed. So you can't buy policies now for the rest of the year unless you have a qualifying life event, which means you lost coverage.
Yeah.
You got married,
you have babies,
stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things to look at here.
Yeah.
And from a group side, we work with all employers from 2 to 2,000. I'm actually working on a 5,000 man group right now.
Wow.
It's a trucking company.
So from a 1 person to $5,000 people company, you can work with all of them.
Yeah, one time I represented the school district as well. I mean, here's the thing. The biggest problem we have in our industry is that people don't understand insurance, period. All they understand is, what am I going to pay for when I go to a doctor? And what you have to look at now on insurance is know what your maximum exposure is. It's like buying a car policy. A lot of people want a $100 deductible. It's not worth it. Buy the $1,000 deductible. Over a year and a half, 2 years time, you're going to save about $1,500.
Wow.
Save the $1,500 if you get sick or have an automobile accident. You pay out the $1,000, you still have $500 in your pocket. With health insurance, it's similar. You look at the plans that are available. I love the health savings account because you probably save about 25%. and you trade dollars. Instead of giving the insurance company extra money, use that money you're saving to pay claims.
Yeah.
And that's how you maximize your dollars.
So I think, what I'm hearing from you, what makes you kind of stand out and different from other agencies, you're really focusing on the education part of this
Have
too.
to.
Yeah.
And the thing we also do, I mean, I pride myself on, it's not about how important it is when I sell you insurance. And anybody can sell you a policy. Where my value rises is when you have a problem, when you need somebody.
Right.
Our agency has taken pride in helping people all over the country. And that's really what's been very important. Like I have a client right now in Nebraska having difficulty adjusting to buying prescriptions. So we educate them. Give you another example. I have an insurance plan. Sometimes the discounts that you get with the insurance company for prescriptions are not greater than the ones you can get on your own. So we also help clients go right to a manufacturer to get a manufacturer's discount on top of the discount the insurance company gives you. And it saves clients sometimes thousands of dollars. In my case, I'm saving about $1,000 every 3 months.
Wow. And that's the key thing, especially going through the pandemic. People really thinking about, maybe I really needed this, and things like that come up. You never know what's going to happen. And the fact that you have insurance, good insurance, that can be life-saving.
Insurance, if it's looked at with perspective, is the right insurance. Like when you buy a car policy, as long as it covers what it's supposed to cover. Like most people buy the minimum policy, it's not worth it. You don't want to buy the minimum policy.
Yeah. And you're not thinking about liabilities. I mean, things like that, right? And people don't think that that's important. And then that becomes something that can be life-changing for you if an accident happens.
It's so important that, like, for some people who buy the minimum, they'll get a $10,000 for property.
Yeah.
The average car on the road is $20,000. You have an accident, you're at fault. You only have $10,000 worth of coverage. You're going to get sued for the balance. Now you got to file bankruptcy. It's ridiculous. So I won't sell a policy unless it's a minimum 25, but usually 50,000. And that's a car policy. People have to look at what they're buying. Sometimes cheap is wrong. Sometimes being frugal can really cost you, and sometimes you need to be intelligent. It's like life insurance. Some people can afford whole life versus term. You get more coverage for less money. That's the key.
Yeah, your clients are calling you now. You're a busy guy.
I knew that would happen. It was my wife, actually.
It's okay. It's okay.
She never answers when she's supposed to. So.
We're talking, this is what is really kind of, when I was kind of looking at your company and what you do, you've been around a long time. 30 years in the business.
Yes.
What was the biggest change that you've seen since you started this business to where it is today?
The size of Nevada.
Yeah.
We're really overpopulated. There's a lot of issues that are going on here in Nevada, so it's changed dramatically.
How does that impact the way that you do business and how you have to kind of respond to people reaching out to you for help?
So when I'm doing group business, right, any plan I sell has to have national access. I will not sell a plan that's specific to Nevada anymore because not only is our educational system 48th, so is our healthcare system.
Wow.
Most people don't know that.
Yeah.
And so it's important that we, as a broker, make sure we educate our clients to have the best access to care.
That's so interesting because people don't think about this. We live in Nevada. We love, great place to live. But when something happens to you health-wise, you may need the help outside of the state. Is that what you're saying?
All right. So about my daughter's 33, so she was 17 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm driving to pick her up at school. She's going to Faith Lutheran at the time. I get a phone call. My mom worked for me at the time before she passed away. She's like, call Steinberg Diagnostic. They have your results. I just took the test an hour earlier. So I called back. And when they give you a call within an hour, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
And the first thing they said to me is, does cancer run in your family? I'm like, no. Wow. Well, I think your lungs are clear, but you might have cancer. Scared the hell out of me. Well, the first thing I thought about is, where am I going to go for care? Am I going to go to City of Hope? Am I going to go to MD Anderson? Am I going to go to Sloan Kettering? I did not want to stay here. And to make a long story short, it was nothing. But it's that kind of thing that makes me wonder if we have the best care. We need to improve our health care. We have certain things here are really good, but overall, if I get sick, I'm leaving Nevada. I have a good friend of mine who I just now may become his broker. He had cancer. He did not know he could go to MD Anderson. And now all of a sudden he went from stage 4 cancer. Right now he's looking really good.
Wow.
And that's the key. I mean, those are the things that people don't realize. buying insurance sounds really good, but what's the best opportunity for you? Well, the best opportunity for me is if I go see my general practitioner for a physical, it sounds really good. But if I'm sick, I want access to the best health care.
Right.
It's like you see all these commercials for the MAPDs, Medicare Advantage. They're overrated. Those plans are not the best. A Medigap plan is the best. Why? Because it allows you to leave Nevada.
Yeah.
Okay. And I want to be able to go to any doctor, the best facilities money can buy. And that's what we bring to the table. And you know what? That's what people have to understand. That's the most important thing we can do.
It's so interesting because I don't think people think about this, right? They think, oh, insured, I just need to think of what's my closest hospital. That's where I'm going to get my one annual checkup a year, and that's all I need. And they don't think about everything else that could happen.
It's a lot more than that.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you that if we don't wake up and look at things from that perspective, we're going to be in trouble. And I got to tell you, one of your questions that I read about was my passion for this industry would be to make healthcare affordable again.
Yeah.
Washington is broken. You have a partisan country. So one side, they're never going to bend to the other side and vice versa. So, the Democrats and Republicans ruined healthcare because they don't want to work together.
Right.
And you and I are the ones paying the price.
Yeah.
So if I had my choice, I'd go to Washington and educate the blind. Like, for example, why not make all premiums, whether I buy it through my job or on an individual basis, tax deductible? That means premiums would go down net by your tax percentage.
Right.
Make all medical claims tax deductible. Again, that would help the consumer. I mean, these are things that the government could do. Instead, they don't play the game the way they should. Raggio, when he was here in the state of Nevada, I met him up in Carson City one year.
Yeah.
My first time up there, and he made a comment to me. Politicians forget the most important factor of life. You may get elected as a Democrat or a Republican, but once you're elected, you represent all constituents.
Yeah.
Washington, D.C. is broken because they forgot that one point. And our healthcare system is broken because of Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
The streets of gold were paved with good intentions. Well, that's healthcare. And when you look at premiums right now for somebody between the ages of 60 and 64 on the cheapest plan being over $700 a month, there's something wrong.
Wow.
That same plan, pre-Obamacare for that same person with a plan that was richer was $224. How could that be? How can premiums be 400% higher for less coverage? So that's my passion. That's what when I read your questions, that's what I go to D.C. I lobby for that reason. I work with different associations for that reason. It's important that consumers are not paying a mortgage payment for insurance.
So let's talk about this because we hear this. This is great. I hear Multicare. I hear about Patrick. What's the process? If people are listening to this right now, they want to come see you. What's the process that you take them through to get them the most affordable insurance?
First of all, we get their demographics. If it's a business, we're going to get their ages, genders, where they live. Because specifically, if they're in New York, rates are higher.
Right.
If they're in the Midwest, maybe lower. Nevada's rates are reasonable by comparison to California.
Right.
But those are the things you have to look at. What's important to the client? Educating the client that you want access, you want national access. Like in Nevada, we have a lot of association health plans. An association health plan allows you as a business owner to get a better rate or a composite rate because they're giving you a large group chassis in a small group environment. Makes a lot of sense, and it's homogenous. So your group goes into a business format that fits your model, and the rates are orchestrated.
So that makes sense for that business because of what they do.
I mean, we have a multitude of association health plans. If you're not looking at them, there's something wrong. A lot of times, agents have to be licensed with the various chambers if they're going to sell those products, et cetera.
Right.
I saw a ton of association plans around the country. They don't always work. I actually was responsible for putting together an association plan for realtors a few years back, which our politicians in Nevada shot down.
Wow.
Which is a shame because those rates were better, the plans were better.
There's so many realtors here who could benefit.
So again, being creative.
Yeah.
So thinking outside the box. What the ACA did do is it took away the ability to be over creative. Like I used to go into every plan, company's offerings, and I would break down which plan made the most sense. So many years ago, Sierra had a plan, Health Plan in Nevada, Sierra Health had a PPO 500-2085. Or 2585 versus a 2086. But the savings was like 18% at the time. So you pay $5 more per doctor visit, but your premium goes down 18%. And the out-of-pocket, the 80-20 in-network, 50-50 out-of-network. If you go to a non-network doctor, you expect to pay more.
Yeah.
But it worked. John Alden had a plan back in the day when they were in business.
Yeah.
Most people liked 80-20. Well, they offered 50-50.
Wow.
But the out-of-pocket was still $3,000, counting your deductible, whether it was 80-20 or 50-50, but your savings was 18 to 22%. Those are the kind of things we used to be able to bring to the table then. I'm still creative, but not as creative as I used to be because the government handcuffed us.
Yeah. But when people come to you, they know that you're going to do your best to give them the right plan.
I guarantee it.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I had a little bit of a lull. I lost my mom to COVID. So for about 18 to 20 months, I wasn't 100% as sharp as I was. I'm back now. I mean, I've overcome it. I've adapted. But
this is personal for you.
Very.
You've seen this happen to people where insurance could either save their lives or do something completely opposite.
I could tell you stories you wouldn't believe. In fact, personal stories. My father with MAPD. It was amazing how that worked out bad for him. I mean, I will tell you that I've had clients from HIV to cancer to strokes to heart attacks, various other illnesses you probably never heard, ALS.
Yeah.
The key to the system is being able to help that client when they need it. Selling them an insurance policy is easy. Delivering the answers. And I always tell my clients this. You may not like the answers you're going to get, but they'll always be the truth. I promise.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you work with so many different types of clients, you know that everyone's needs are different.
You also asked me a question, or you wrote a question about, being out there involved. I coached for 17 years in baseball, 1 year basketball. And what was great about it is I did it for the kids and with the hope that I can get them to the next level, whether it be college or whatever. And never pros. That was never an ambition of mine. I think if that happened, it was a miracle. It had nothing to do with me.
Right.
But
you're realistic.
But I really believe that we as a people need to give back.
Yeah.
And mentor. What's happening in our youth with our youth today is really scary. So I try to help them along, and I'm very proud that I have contact with a lot of young men now. They're in their 20s, and now one of my players just turned 31.
Wow.
I know them for 25 years, and to me that's important.
Yeah.
That's what made being a Nevadan so great for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And, it's clear to see you're very passionate about what you do. And as part of the show, we want to kind of give back in a way of showing what you've done, what you've learned, and what other entrepreneurs can really bring to the table. So what's kind of your biggest lesson that I'm sure there have been many, but what do you want to tell people? Maybe they want to go into your industry and they want to learn from you and they want to give back. What advice would you give them?
Well, when I got into the business, it was a tremendous industry in the health side to get a nice steady paycheck.
Right.
If you're going to get in this business, put your clients first. Don't worry about your compensation. That'll come. Take care of the clients. The clients will always take care of you. There's nothing like a referral. The greatest gift a client can give you is a referral. When you get a referral, that's like a medal.
Yeah.
Wear it with honor.
Yeah, that's great. And with this industry, obviously, lots of changes still in the works, what you do, but obviously your passion just stays with your clients. I mean, that's what you're focused on right now.
Having empathy, having a heart, and be passionate for those people who may have a medical need to be fulfilled. Being there to help somebody, whether or not they make it or not, making them comfortable is important. I had a lunch with a lady last week that's not my client, and I was guiding her how to use her policy.
Wow.
She's got stage 4 cancer, and she's very sick. She didn't even know it. And she went to the City Hope on Friday. I'm trying to help her, not to sell her anything. I'm just trying to guide her.
Right.
I said, you could go to MD Anderson as well. They're excellent. And so I think it's really what makes us better people inside is to try to help somebody. Helping a youngster sometimes with no medical problems, you're not really helping them. You're just taking their money.
Right.
But when you deliver when somebody's really sick and you're there to help them or educate them on how to maximize their coverage, like for example, dental care. People don't realize how important it is to have quality dental care, because if you have gum disease, you end up with heart disease.
Yeah.
So you educate people in that respect.
Right. I love it. Any last word? What do you want to put out there for people looking to just be more educated? Obviously, empower themselves with healthcare information, because that's essentially what you do.
What's interesting? What I'll say is this: if you want questions answered, call me. You don't have to buy. There's no obligation. If you want to utilize us, go for it. But more importantly, let us try to help you make decisions for you and your family. Because at the end of the day, what it comes down to is, will it work? Do you understand why this is the path you want to go on?
Right.
That's the key.
Well, Patrick Casale is the president of the Multicare Group. Where can they find you? What's the best?
The best way to reach me is on my cell, 702-286-1014. Obviously, it's like American Express. I don't leave home without it. I apologize. The phone rang. I tried to turn it off
No, I mean,
earlier.
people need to reach you, including your wife.
Yeah, well, I called my wife before I got here, but I knew she didn't answer, so she was probably on the phone with the grandchildren.
Awesome.
But no, more importantly, that you can call us at 702-286-1014. It's my cell number. You can also call the office, 702-396-9449. Listen to the prompts. You can talk to one of myself or any of my team. I promise you we'll give you the service you need.
Patrick, obviously your passion is evident. You love what you do, and you've been doing great things for the community. So thank you for coming in.
My pleasure. Your passion's pretty strong, too. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. And thank you so much for watching this episode of Entrepreneur Showcase Series. We'll see you next time.